But that's part of war.
That's why war.
I remember Anne, because she was 6 years older, she was my cousin's friend. She was a very gifted child. I mean, not everybody could write like this. We all, at that time, did diaries. Anybody of you keep a diary, or that's not in style anymore? Oh, you do?
I used to.
Very nice. Well, girls are always more into it than boys. That's very good. Is it a secret diary? You
Yeah.
hide it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this was something that we did, exactly. And so but I remember school plays, and she was always the leading role. She could remember, people would ask her and read a script, and in a few days, she knew it all by heart. And also, there were so many people hiding. There was quite a lot of people hiding. And don't forget, you had to be quiet because it was a factory. So during the day, they had to be very quiet. They couldn't flush the toilet. They had to walk with socks, of course. But the main thing that is so incredible is that you didn't know how long do you have to hide. Are you hiding a week? Are you hiding a month? 6 months? A year? And how are you gonna eat? Who's gonna pay for all this? And in wartime, even in the United States during the war, you had ration cards. But if you were in hiding, you were not listed anywhere, so you didn't have any portions. So everything was forgery. So they had to forge and make fake identity cards so that the person that was helping you in hiding would secretly go and get food for you. And I remember that when I was in hiding, later on I came out of hiding because something happened. It's a whole other story, and I didn't have to wear my star anymore. You know, Jewish people, in order to be identified on the street, all had to wear a Jewish star, unless you were under the age of 6. But anybody over 6 had to wear that. So when I wasn't wearing my star anymore, and I was in hiding, I remember taking my sled one winter. It's a lot of snow. It's not like LA. It's like, and I took my sled full of food, and I had to take it to my aunt and uncle's. I didn't know it was my aunt and uncle. I didn't even know exactly where. I just had to take my sled, and on the sled was all the food for them. Somebody gave it to me, and I would take it and walk with the sled and drop it off in front of these houses. One of those houses, actually, it was 2 doors down from Anne Frank's place. But I didn't know Anne Frank was there. She didn't know I was outside either. And when the raid came, they were caught. I heard later on from a younger friend that did survive. She lived on my street, and she survived in that camp. And she saw a lot of Anne Frank during the camp. And Anne got very skinny. You know, the food was very bad. And not only the food, there was barely anything but to eat. And also there were no drugs. So when she got typhoid fever and very, very high fever, she was just laying on the cot. And in the barracks in the camp, there were no windows. It was just a new door. It was just an opening. And her cot, where she slept, was right near the door. So she got that draft, that cold wind, all the time. And that's how, unfortunately, she died just 2 months before the war. I was actually liberated by the Canadians. And only 2 days later, ever heard about General Dwight D. Eisenhower? He became a president of the United States as well. Okay, he liberated Southern Holland, but Amsterdam was Northern Holland. So I was actually liberated by Canada. So you were very excited. You were very happy. took the soldiers into your home, and we didn't have food. They would bring crackers, and they brought all the way. The most important thing is that you have about almost 3 years of her life in here. And how she tried, and it's also partly of growing up. First she found it very cute. She hanged her pictures in her little area. But then later on, you got fed up. And they got less and less food because everybody in Amsterdam in 1944, you see, the invasion was actually 2 days ago, June the 6th, and she writes about it. June the 6th, 1944 was the invasion. That's at the right moment when United States and England together, and Canada, decided to cross from England and hit the Normandy beaches in France, because there the water, the North Sea is small, so they didn't have to go very far. They had to do it dark, because remember that the Germans have planes, and they bombed from the top, and they did. So in the darkness of the night, they landed at these beaches, and she knew already. So it still took from June 44 till May 5th, 1945, almost a year of liberation. But she was so excited. She says, oh, we're going to get free in a month, in a week, in a month. And that's why she was so optimistic. And she always thought she's going to survive. She never thought she's going to die. So in about 20 years, I'm 70 now, so in about 20 years, I don't think there will be many survivors still alive. And that's why it's so important that everybody should tell their stories and that you study about it. It's very, very important. So I was very honored when your teacher, Mr. Mitchell, called me and said, would you come, because you can tell the story. It's not just like reading it. You educate people that people are different. Some have blue eyes, some have green eyes. Some have straight hair, some have curly hair. Some are tall, some are small. We're different. God created all of us. And that's what it is. And only through education we can see it. It's something when her father, after the war, or the only person of all these people in hiding, Otto Frank, her dad, survived. Somehow he survived. He came back to Amsterdam and he saw me. And I remember we were going, they found the diary. It wasn't printed and published like this. It was all little pieces of paper. And he had an idea. He says, maybe I can sell this book or this script. And then when I sell it, maybe, because she always wanted to be a movie star. Did you read that part? She was always looking. She thought she wasn't pretty. And she was very worried about that. But she always said, oh, if I would be beautiful, I want to be a movie star in Hollywood. I told you she was always an actress on the stage. And so he thought maybe Hollywood will pick it up. And that's really what happened. It really happened. I think it was MGM, right, who picked up the script, and that became the first movie. And then, of course, later on, many times they had it now on television. Thank God for the United States. I want you to know there isn't a day that I don't bless this country. You're all so lucky because you're born here. But when you weren't born here, you really appreciate it. And that's why so many people of so many religions and so many backgrounds